Alright, so last time we went to the combination Taco Bell Pizza Hut and we kind of got lost. We need help. We need help. We need some advice. Like, let's ask Kaku to use her amazing Taoist arts and give us a life lesson because we sorely need that. We're stuck. We're stuck in Taco Bell Pizza. It's an ironically great stuff. It's really stupid and I love it. It's the best. Anyway, Seiga Kaku, you got thing in your hair. Is that what is that? I don't know what that is. It's got like a handle on it. Anyway, preference is full screen give OBS a heart attack. Good, do the thing. Music. I don't know if there's any music, but let's start. Give us life advice. This is not Marissa. This is someone else.
Hello.
Yes, hello. It's a lovely little riverbank thingy, marsh thing. Do I have to press enter again?
Why is a human lying around here?
I don't know. Or you're a little pixie thing. Smoke coming out of your things.
Ah, you are alive. Good for you.
Yeah, it is good to be alive. It's useful for doing things like enjoying random visual novels and learning about the Touhoos.
You've piqued my interest. Would you like a gift?
I don't really care about getting gifts, but sure.
Why? Why not? To the Tao, no wish is too extreme. Now, would you like to make a wish?
Sure. Sure, yes, please.
What would you like?
Success in relationships. No, I don't got any of those. Success in self-actualization. I'm fine with that. Power and influence. Fuck that. That's responsibility and consequence. No. Immortality. Boring. I want things to end eventually, you know. Well, nah. I mean, beauty. Fuck that. I'm already hot enough as it is. I don't know why I don't want anything. Actually, yeah, I don't really care. I'm good. I don't want anything.
Being content with who you are and what you have is the greatest gift. Instead of receiving a gift, would you like to join me in meditation?
Sure, why the fuck not? Meditate with Seiga. Here.
Let me go through the basics of Taoist meditation, step by step. Just signal when you are ready to move to the next step. First, posture. Straighten your back as if you are being pulled up by a string attached to the top of your head.
Okay.
Next, breathing. Take a deep breath in. Expand the lower part of your abdomen, under the navel. Hold it for a few seconds and breathe out while pushing in your abdomen. Feel your abdomen expand and contract as you breathe in and out. If your focus shifts, let it return to your lower abdomen. The point is to avoid distractions by anchoring your mind to your body. Now close your eyes and focus solely on your breathing.
Well, I mean, I can't really do that because I need to actually see the text to read the text, but okay. I guess the model is something. I don't know what the model is doing. Alright. I'm not gonna actually close my eyes. I wonder if there's a secret here. Meditation music. Let's meditate. Okay, I think that's enough meditation. Hello.
Leaving? Come back anytime.
Game finished. Ending 5 meditation with Seiga. Rumor has that meditation is the key to a long life. What do you think? Maybe, I don't know. Let's replay the thing. Hello, hi. I don't know, I'm here. I'm here to see what other things. I'd rather not.
That's fine. Good even. If you can minimize your desires, you will be content with your life. Perhaps you'd like to join me in meditation instead.
No thanks, we just did that.
I see. Bye.
Okay. I think the Taoism not even once you dodged that conversation like the pros dodge bullets. Okay, time to finish 21 seconds. Personally. Wow. Keep you score. Okay, let's make a wish. Are you sure? Let's make a wish. Yes, please. What do I want? Let's go with immortality. We know some people who have immortality here. Seiga shrugs.
Sometimes the universe just decides that someone should stay eternally young and beautiful. It can't be helped really. The ancient Taoist masters did it by meditating all day and living in perfect harmony with nature. This way, they could live without expending any energy and without aging. And when they eventually got bored of it all, they flew up to the heaven. I don't plan to ever get bored of it all, so I use Chinese alchemy instead.
Fair enough.
No, I can't help you become immortal. I've made sure of that. Just imagine if people thought I could turn them immortal. They'd pester me to no end, and I'd have no time to enjoy my own immortality.
I mean, that's fair enough. That's fair enough.
So how about another gift?
How about, I don't know, how about beauty?
Here it goes. Taoist art, make you beautiful. Actually, I don't have to do anything. Because you are already beautiful in my eyes. Even the most beautiful queen will horrify wild animals with her appearance, while slugs happily mate with other slugs. The queen and the slugs are just as beautiful, and so are you. Were you satisfied by your gift?
Sure. Yeah, I was fine.
I'm glad I could be of help. Practice the Tao, and your wish will surely come to pass. There is one thing I would like to do for you.
Okay, Seiga hands you an actual copy of the Tao Te Ching, one of the fundamental texts of Taoism. Her copy appears to have several handwritten notes in the margins. Cool.
It's not much really, just a book. But if you take to heart what is written in it, you will go far. With that, I'll leave you to yourself. Come back anytime.
Okay. I think what peaceful encounter you survived your encounter with Seiga. Was there a way to die? Let's try die. Let's try dying. Hi. Give me gift. Give me wealth. Let's try dying. Power and influence. Let's get power and influence.
I guess there's no harm in sharing this with you.
I want to do what people do I want. Let's pick the worst options there.
Here it goes. Taoist art, key to power. It's folly to try to control other people. If you force them to do something against their will, they will just resent you for it. Instead, have people do what they would want to do on their own. By working with people and not against them, you save a lot of energy. For example, I do not have to aim my attacks because they naturally seek out the life force of my opponents. Just like an infant naturally searches for its mother. Were you satisfied by your gift?
No. That's just common sense, not real power.
You want real power? If the power to control other people was really real, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Humans are interesting precisely because you cannot control them. But I can always turn you into something unhuman if you insist. Yoshika.
Good morning. Aye.
Taoist art, undead life lesson.
Hi, hello Yoshika. Oh, there we go. Chop. Yoshika bounces at you. Before you have time to react, her sharp teeth has pierced your skin. Feelings of coldness radiate from your wound. Seiga reaches for a paper talisman.
Let's see how you like being controlled.
As the world fades to black, you feel something on your forehead. Your mind slows down and your thoughts fade away. Hey, there we go. We got that. We turned into a Jiangshi game finish. Ending to undead life lesson. You spend some time as a Jiangshi, dutifully carrying out Seiga's orders as written on the paper talisman on your forehead. Since Yoshika's bite was not fatal, your transformation into an undead servant is only temporary. After a couple days, you return to life. Oh. Well, yeah, that's fair enough. Now let's examine some more options. What else? What else are you gonna give us? Could you give us success and self-actualization?
I'd be happy to help with that. What are you interested in specifically?
I want to be successful. I'll show you what to do with my life. I should control my emotions better. Sure, I guess.
That's a good wish. If you master yourself, no external circumstances will bring you down. Is there any specific emotion you struggle to control?
Yeah, alcoholism. The fake alcoholism. I'm sad stuff. I'm angry stuff. I'm often scared. It is more complicated. It's more complicated but simpler.
I'll do my best. Here it goes. Taoist art, emotional support. It's not strange to lack words to describe how you feel. Emotions are complicated. Still, if you think it'd help you be in control of your emotions, I'd like to teach you the basics of meditation. Would you like that?
Oh, okay, we're just back here again. Okay. Goodbye. There is more Seiga's things she'd like to give you. I don't know. Let's try one more thing. That one just gives us meditation. Yes, please. Let's go with wealth. Seiga shrugs.
I can only grant gifts of the soul.
Oh. Okay. Successful relationships.
More specifically,
I would be allowed to make friends. I would belong somewhere. Let's belong somewhere, I guess. I don't know.
that's a nice wish that I'll be happy to grant you. Here it goes. Taoist art, Taoist wisdom. As with all feelings, your sense of belonging rests within yourself. If you are content with yourself, you will feel as if you belong anywhere. It may be tempting to change yourself to fit in, but since you can only guess what other people want from you, you will always be stuck asking yourself if you are good enough. That is, until you yourself feel that you are good enough. Instead of changing yourself to fit other people, ask yourself what you want, regardless of what other people find impressive or useful. Being useless is actually highly useful. People will not bug you for your favors if they think you are useless. If you have problems coming to peace with your uselessness, I could teach you the basics of meditation.
Okay. But I want to be useful.
Then make it your goal in life to be useful to some person or group. You can ask them or study them to figure out what you should do for them and how you should think. But make no mistake, being useful to others won't make you find peace or a sense of belonging. Until you've adopted their mindset, you are stuck depending on them for external validation. You will only find true peace once you can look within yourself and feel valid. You often hear people say that they are happy to serve their community, but the real reason they are happy is because they serve their own idea of what their community is like. There's one more thing I would like to do for you.
So you guys do the actual copy of the Tao. Oh, okay, we already have this. We already got the copy of this thing.
It's just a book. You'll go far. Come back anytime.
Okay, game finished. Okay. More life lessons. Let's get some other life lessons. What else can we get? One more life lesson on... I don't know what I want.
That's okay. Perhaps you don't want anything very strongly.
That's right.
Being content with... Oh.
Okay, well, let's just decline. Start tile. Can we... Alright, oh, right, we could... There we go. Jugshi life. There you go. You are a level 1 Jugshi. You are at the graveyard. You are protecting the graveyard from intruders. You hear something. It's a squirrel. Attack the squirrel. You leap towards the invading squirrel. It runs up a tree. You stand guard at the base of the tree, making sure that... You can't remember what you were doing, but the graveyard appears to be safe. Complete victory! You are now a level 2 Jugshi. You're protecting the grave from intruders. You see something. It's got a forgotten umbrella. Attack the umbrella. You feel strong. It feels good. You leap at the umbrella. Oh, not you again. The umbrella flies away. Confusing victory. You wish you could have eaten the umbrella. You're now level 3 Jugshi. You get 1 strength, total of 3. You're protecting the graveyard from intruders. You hear something moving to the left. They look strong. Maybe you are stronger. No, we already fought her. Now we attack everything. Attack them. Eating strong ones will make you stronger. You leap towards their head first. They deflect your face with a punch. It doesn't hurt, but you feel dizzy. Oh, are you telling me I'm poisonous? I'll wake you up at 10 p.m. She forgets to wake you up.
Good morning. I've patched you up, but please try not to get damaged. It's a pain to repair you, and if you really died, this would be permanent. Good luck out there, my cute underling.
Proceeding to needy Jugshi. Seiga thinks that you are a needy Jugshi that wants to be repaired, but perhaps you are just incompetent. That's fair. Once you play that one, it's a B. Oh, no need to. It's a B. No need to. You don't think that B is a threat. Although you don't think, you feel as if the experience made you smarter. Level up. You are now level 2 Jugshi. Gain intelligence. You're protected the graveyard from intruders. You see something behind the gravestone. It's a forgotten umbrella. Its eggplant-like color is offensive to the eyes. Attack the umbrella. You feel strong, feels good. Oh no, you get... The umbrella flies away, confusing with the additional strength. That's fine. She nods at you. You don't get it her way. You are to protect the graveyard. Cool. Goodbye, Yoshika. You don't know how or why, but you ended up protecting the graveyard without causing trouble. Yay. Greet Seiga. Greet Seiga, greet Seiga, greet Seiga, greet Seiga, greet Seiga, greet.
You're a good underling. Maybe I should make it permanent? Nah, long-term corpse maintenance is too much work.
Or sitting with mildly competent guardian, there are a total of 3 bonus endings, of one of them required you to make a specific set of choices. Good luck! I want to make the specific set of choices. You see, it's B. Let's attack the B. It stings you, does hurt, but you still take damage. The bee dies. Narrow victory. You are now level 2. Extra strict. You said be able to get through. Forgot that umbrella. No need to. It's fine. You don't think umbrellas are intruders. They are shaped more like trees, and you don't attack trees. Did you just think again? You feel smarter. Level up. You're protecting the girl from intruders. They look a bit like you. I'll need to. No, you don't get it. Why you take the graveyard? Do we cost? There's I want to get the specific. How do we? Okay, it's a squirrel. No need to. Let's be smarter. Let's just be smart. Let's get all the smartness. It's forgotten umbrella. No need to. It's fine. Let's be the smartest thing. It's Jiangxi. Greet. Oh, there we go. Greet the hi.
Good morning. Is it still morning?
Don't know.
Good afternoon, maybe.
Is it really afternoon?
Don't know.
Good night, maybe.
Please wake me up at 10 p.m. Good night.
You are not sleepy. You walk away. You can't protect the graveyard like this. You need to protect the graveyard. You don't know how or why, but you end up protecting the graveyard by causing trouble. Greet Sig, hello. Well, come on. It's a bird. No need to. It's fine. We need to be intelligent. It's fine. Let's greet them. Okay, there you go. Don't know. It's really evening. Good day, maybe.
Good day. It's definitely day. Keep up the good work.
You walk away. You can't protect the girl like this. Hello. No. Well, okay. Well, let's just read Tao Te Ching then. The Tao that can be stated is not the eternal Tao. The name that can be named is not the eternal name. Oh, it's literally the whole thing. There's 81 pages. Should I just read the whole thing? Sure, why the fuck not? The name that can be named is not the eternal name. The nameless is the origin of heaven and earth. The named is the mother of the myriad things. Thus, by constantly having no desire, one views its essence. By constantly having desire, one views its shell. These two have the same origin, but they differ in name. Together, they are called mystery. One mystery plus another mystery is the source of all wonders. Why is this on page 1? To warn that words can never fully describe the Tao. Words are useful, but if we focus solely on them, we only experience the intellectual shell around reality. The real reality is outside our heads, beyond our understanding. The reality inside our head and the reality outside have the same origin, and combining them is the source of all wonder. If everybody knows what beauty is, then ugliness is known. If everybody knows what goodness is, then evil is known. Therefore, the above are shells or labels. Being and non-being give birth to one another. Distinctions that merely exist in our heads. Hard and easy are mutually formed. Long and short shape each other. High and low complement each other. Music and voice are harmonized with each other. Front and back follow one another. Hence, the sages focus on uncontrived action in their works. Act according to your nature. Practice wordless teachings. Any teachings expressed in words will fail to capture the essence. The myriad things arise but are disregarded. Reject the myriad schools of philosophy. The sages produce but do not own. Produce teachings but do not make them your own philosophy. Act but do not express. Moral laws are just rationalizations of feelings. Accomplish work but do not dwell on it, and do not capture the essence. Do not dwell on it, and thus it never departs. Do not yearn for renown, will keep the people from becoming rivals. Do not value things that are hard to come by, will keep the people from becoming thieves. To not show what is desirable will keep people from becoming confused. So, in the sage's peaceful and tranquil world, people's state of mind is calm. People live with enough food. People's aspirations are lowered. People's physiques are strong. People will be unknowing, undesiring. And even the knowing ones will never dare to act. Uncontrived action, there is nothing ungoverned. People and things do not need to be governed, just like a wild horse does not need a master. This page perfectly describes my Yoshika. She is calm, her basic needs are minimal, her desires are simple, and her physique is strong. She's a master of wordless teachings. She barely thinks at all. The tower is empty, but when using it, it is impossible to use it up. It is profound. It seems like the root of the myriad things, blunt its own sharpness, unravels its own fetters, harmonizes its own light, mixes with its own dust. It is unclear, but seems to exist. I do not know whose child it is. It was already created before the gods. The Tao is beyond human understanding, beyond the gods, and beyond limits. Just like we cannot capture the essence of morality with words, the Tao cannot be understood through the intellect alone. The sky and the earth do not care. The universe is indifferent. They regard the myriad things as straw dogs. The sages do not care, so we shouldn't care. They regard people as straw dogs. The space between the sky and the earth, how much it is like large bellows, empty but endless. Just move and wind will be produced. Actions have consequences. Much talk soon comes to nothing. The ambitious soon doom themselves. It is better to be quiet. The valley spirit will not die. This is the primal mother. The gate of the primal mother is the root of the world. She unceasingly exists. Her influence is without effort. The mystic's female is the source of life, the root of the world. Although she doesn't care, she nurtures us all, because that is her nature. Because it is her nature, she does it effortlessly. The sky and the earth are eternal. The reason why the sky and the earth are eternal is that they do not exist for themselves. Things that have no selves cannot die. So they are eternal. Because of this, the sages put themselves behind all other people. Yet before all others, they shall eventually stand. They were indifferent to the discomforts and dangers, yet they are the ones who survive. It is not because of their selflessness. This is why they eventually achieve their goals. When you eliminate the self, your goals become aligned with the universe and will be achieved just by letting the universe have its course. I just do what I feel like without rationalization or agendas, like the rotation of the heavens. The highest excellence is like that of water. The water's goodness is that it benefits the myriad things, but does not quarrel. And it willingly goes to places people hate. Go with the flow wherever it takes you. Thus it is almost like the Tao. It is good to be on the ground, to deepen the heart, to love people while being among people, to keep one's word while talking, to be at peace while governing, to do what one is capable of, to act in rhythm, because it does not quarrel, it is not blamed. Rather than pouring into an overflow cup, it is better to stop short, hammer and sharpen on edge, and it will quickly dull. One cannot keep a hall brimming with riches hidden forever. The man arrogant from enormous wealth brings disaster upon himself. Retiring after succeeding is the way of the heavenly Tao. Nature abhors extremes. Ambition and arrogance are futile, since they go against the Tao. Let soul and body be one. Align your mind with your nature. Is it possible for them to not part ways? With close attention to our breath, can we become like infants? Return to your true state. Clean the mirror of the soul. A clean mirror does not distort the world. Can we be without fault? To love people and to govern the country, can we act without contriving? The gate of the heaven opens and closes. Can we act like the feminine? This refers to the cycle of sleep and wakefulness, of having consciousness. Feminine, yin, earth. Knowing all the causes and effects, how to keep doing only the simple things. Bear them, feed them, produce and do not own, achieve and do not claim, raise and do not rule. This is called the profound virtue. With meditation and practice, the mind can be temporarily cleaned.
but such a state of mind is effortless for infants, animals, inanimate objects, and Yoshika. Put 30 spokes together to one hub. The original empty space is the use of the wheel. Knead clay into vessels. The original empty space is the use of the vessel. Shape door and windows for a room. The original empty space is the use of the room. So the things that are made are only conditions. What we are using is still the original empty space. Cups are made to be filled. When we make them, we make the emptiness useful. The Tao is like the empty space. The 5 colors blind people's eyes. The 5 sounds stun people's ears. The 5 flavors make people's mouth numb. To indulge in hunting makes people's heart wild. To pursue rare treasures makes people's behavior improper. So, as the sages attend to the craving of their beliefs, not their bellies, not their eyes, throw away the latter and adopt the former. The sages minimize their desires to the basic needs of the body. The Tao is not pleasing to the eye or ears, unlike other false teachings, which numb the people with their flashiness. Favor and disgrace are alike to be feared. The greatest suffering is the self. Why is favor and disgrace alike to be feared? Favor leads downward. Being favored makes one fearful. Being disfavored also makes one fearful. This is why favor and disgrace are alike to be feared. Why is the greatest suffering the self? I have great suffering because I have the self. If I do not have the self, what suffering do I have? So if you can change respecting yourself into respecting the world, then the world can be entrusted to you. If you can change loving yourself into loving the world, then the world can be given to you. Acting to gain favor or avoid disgrace is the same shackle. You cannot be yourself if you care about reputation. Lessen the self to become one with your nature. This is what it means to be one with the world. That which is looked at yet never seen is known as invisible. That which is listened to yet never heard is known as soundless. And that which is grasped yet never touched is known as intangible. The origin of these 3 cannot be observed, so mix them and form a unity. Above, it is not lit. Below, it is not dark. The Tao cannot be named by common rules, as it returns to its origin. It is the shape of the original shape, the image of the original object. This is blur and profundity. Step forward and cannot see its beginning. Follow it, cannot see its end. Hold the ancient Tao to know the present things, and thus know the ancient beginnings. This is the principle of the Tao. The Tao must be held with the body, because it cannot be understood with the mind. Okay. In olden times, those who knew the Tao were a mysterious and subtle people, transient yet profound, tranquil yet utterly unfathomable. Since they are inexplicable, I can only tell what they seem like. They did not think inwards, so they cannot be understood intellectually. Cautious as if wading through a winter river, wary as if afraid of their own neighbors, grave like the courteous house guests, elusive as of melting ice, pure and natural as plain wood, wide and open like a deep valley, yet mysterious. Oh yes, they were like troubled water. Who can remain tranquil amidst troubled airs, that calmness may flow from within? Who may remain at peace eternal, that motion would yield birth to nature? For those who follow the Tao, fulfillment has never been their aim. Only as they are forever unfulfilled can such freshness be ever renewed. Since words cannot communicate the essence of the Tao, it is better to just observe wordlessly. Observe nature and try to be like it. Immersed within the heart of the void, keep tranquility's essence. The myriad things together arise. I thereby perceive their returning. Things bloom, and in bloom returns to the source. The returning to the source is called tranquility. This is the returning to destiny. The returning to destiny is the eternal. To know the eternal is wisdom. When one does not know wisdom, disaster arises. Knowing the eternal is wide-ranging. Wide-ranging means open-minded. Open-minded means royal. Royal means heavenly. Heavenly means the Tao. The Tao means everlasting. Bodiless and without form, cannot wither or perish. The greatest rulers are hardly known by their subjects. Then comes the rulers the people praise. Then the rulers the people hold in fear. Then the rulers that people revile. When one lacks trust, one finds no trust. Reluctantly, without boasting, perform actions, accomplish deeds, the people will say it happened naturally. The greatest ruler does not rule, trust the people to rule themselves. When the Tao is lost, there arises benevolence and righteousness. When prudence and wisdom appear, there is great hypocrisy. When family relations are not right, there is filial piety and paternal affection. When the state is confused and chaotic, there is loyalty and faithfulness. There is no need to talk of righteousness when everything is right. Likewise, good and evil are for people who lack the Tao. Abandon holiness, relinquish prudence. The people will flourish 100-fold. Abandon benevolence, relinquish righteousness. Then people will return to filial piety and affection. Abandon cleverness, relinquish gain. And thieves and robbers will not appear. These three fundaments are beyond words. Thus, stay true to that which is reliable. Recognize simplicity, embrace purity. Lessen the self, diminish desires. Do not attempt to teach people about good and evil. Why should they care about what you consider good? A thief steals because it is good for the thief. To stop thievery, relinquish gain, and there will be no need for thievery. Discard conventional doctrines, just be yourself, and be relieved from anxieties. Approval or flattery, what difference does it make? Good or evil, what difference does it take? Just because the people are in awe, you cannot be indifferent? Ridiculous, ungrounded. When everyone is celebrating and joyous, as if relishing a spiritual triumph, as if enjoying a victorious feast, I alone am peaceful, contemplating the myriad futures. Don't get pulled along, be yourself. Days like a newborn child, seizing the moment, pondering the uncertainties. When everyone feels lavished, I alone am hallowed. Hollowed even. I am a fool, confounded. When everyone seemed enlightened, I alone am in suspense. When everyone is watchful, I alone become restful. Enigmatic, like the obscure twilight. Desolate, like the infinite universe. When everyone is focused, I alone am playful and trivial. I alone am indifferent, different from the common. I find refuge in the womb of this profound conception. Where the greatest virtues resides, only the Tao may reveal. Things that bestow the Tao radiate such liberty, such easiness, because they are true to themselves. Eased, liberated from its form, yet fashioned. Liberated, at ease with its position, yet poised. Mesmerizing, mysterious. Brilliance from within. Its brilliance so enlightening, it exemplifies the truth, traversing through all times. Its name is not diminished. Amassing all marvels of human intelligence, how do I know the essence of all marvels? By observing things that bestow the Tao. Emulate nature to learn of the Tao. Fractured, one asserts unity. Bending, one acts straight. People who are rigid in their thinking break instead of bend. Low, one appears fulfilled. Exhausted, one inhibits freshness. Ignorant, one expresses intelligence. Excessive, one becomes deluded. Hence, the sage maintains integrity and sets an example for the people. Profess not and reveal enlightenment. Contend not and lavish brilliance. Proclaim not and win praise. Dignify not and garner respect. The sage contests not, therefore is uncontested. Fractured, one asserts unity. Such timeless truth. With genuine integrity, one rediscovers the self. People who refuse to lie will offend people. Be faultlessly loyal to the state and be forced to report your friend's crime. Never surrender and be cut down. Moral flexibility makes life easy. Flexibility is the great virtue of yin. With this virtue, you can remain true to yourself while bending to circumstances. Less spoken words speak for themselves naturally. Gusts cannot chill the exuberant day. Showers cannot turn day to dusk. Why is it so? Even the heaven and earth cannot counter its own force, let alone people. It is futile to try to change people with words, just like nature cannot change itself. Therefore, those engaged with the Tao takes pleasure that that taught is the Tao. The virtuous is the virtue. The perplexed is perplexity. At one with the Tao is welcoming. At one with virtue, virtue be appreciating. At one with the perplexity, perplexity be gratifying. The confused are happy in their confusion. Lack of belief explains the disbelief in this futility.
Ones who reach do not stand. Ones who stride do not pace. One's self-seeing are not enlightened. One's self-possessed are not established. One's self-asserted are without accomplishments. One's self-esteemed are without respect. These, according to the Tao, are called extravagance and exorbitance. Materialistic matters alike are resented. Therefore, those embracing Tao dwell not on them. Another warning against ambition. Mired into existence before the conception of heaven and earth, tranquil, desolate, independent and undeterred, cyclical and not circumvented. As being the mother of all nature, its name is unknown. I call it the Tao, and arbitrarily describe it as great. And being great, it is desolated. Being desolated, it is removed. Being removed, it returns. All eternal things in nature are cyclical, the seasons, day and night. Therefore the Tao is great. Heaven is great. Earth is great. The sage is also great. Without selfish ambition, your life becomes cyclical, sleep and wakefulness. Those are the four noble greatness, and the sage is one of them. The sage is inspired by the underlying principle of the earth. The earth is inspired by the underlying principle of the heavens. The heavens are inspired by the underlying principles of the Tao. The Tao is inspired by the underlying principles. Observe the earth to understand the heavens, to understand the Tao. Weightiness, importance, is the root of weightlessness. Temperance is the master of temperament. Therefore the stage stays close to the weighty supplies and expeditions. There be spectacles and scenery, but they preside in serenity. Why then would a leader of a myriad supporters put no weight on themselves? Weightless and lose authority. Tempestuous and forfeit mastership. Actions carry weight. Perhaps this is why people cannot let go of their fake selves and fake morals, because they are afraid to lose control. Good traveling leaves no tracks. Good speech is without reproach. Good strategies need no plotting. A good plot unfolds like the course of nature, inevitably. With good fastening, even a door with no hinge cannot be opened. The good knot is made without a rope that cannot be unraveled. Hence the sage never fails in saving people. Therefore, no one is rejected. The sage never fails at saving things. Therefore, nothing is left abandoned. This is illumination. Thus the good people are the teachers of the bad. The bad people are resources for the good. One who fails to respect his teacher and does not cherish his resources, however intelligent such a one may be, he is still greatly confused. This is the essential mystery. Bad people, good people, they both follow their natures. It makes no sense to scorn one or the other, and both are a resource. Water. Drink your water, by the way. Acquire knowledge of the masculine, yang, but acquaint with the feminine, yin, and be the earth's foundation. Be the earth's fountain, be virtuous and undeterred, and be like an infant. Realize the radiance of the limelight, but remain in the shadows. Be the people's example. Be the people's example, be virtuous and not excessive, and be tranquilized. Experience the glory, but express humility, and be the world's refuge. Be the world's refuge, be virtuous and complacent, and be returned to plain wood. Plain wood can be carved into instruments. The sages utilize it and become respectful leaders. Therefore, a great tailor seldom trims. Yoshik is like the plainest wood. She can be carved into anything. The ultimate embodiment of the feminine principle. Being proud of my cute underling is one among my many flaws. At least she balances out my yang. It is futile trying to possess the universe and act on shaping it in the direction of one's ambition. The instruments of the universe cannot be shaped. One cannot act upon it. We are part of the universe, not external actors. Act upon it and you will fail. Grasp onto it and it will slip. For everything, there is a time to tread, a time to trail. And my arts act with the universe, not against it. A time to gust, a time to gape. If only the minions of hell could understand this. A time to vigor, a time to vice. A time to carry, a time to ride. Hence the sage departs extremes, departs extravagance, departs magnificence. Ones who offer advice in the Tao of governance offers not the use of force to dominate the world. Danmaku battles are an enlightened way of solving conflicts, understanding its invitation to retaliation. Where troops tramp, thorns thrive. After great battalions, years of resentments are inevitable. But the lack of resentment is also due to the qualities of the combatants. Therefore, the sages bring to fruition and leave be, daring not to capture dominance, accomplish and refrain glorification, accomplish and restrain aggression, accomplish and relinquish pride, accomplish and take no credit, accomplish and refuse domination. Things that mature grow old. That is not like the Tao. That which is not like the Tao will soon cease. Where everyone is well armed is a state of vain. Everything shuns it. Therefore the sages avoid it. When at home, the master values the left, the peaceful hand. When at war, the right, the violent weapon-wielding hand. Armaments are instruments of misfortune, unmasterly instruments, wielded only when inevitable. Reconciliation is paramount, victory without glorification. Those who glorify take pleasure in massacres. Those who take pleasure in massacres cannot win the hearts of the people. Therefore, upon prosperity, favor the left. In adversity, favor the right. Hence the general is to the left, the admiral is to the right, positioned in solemn remembrance. Casualties are mourned in consolation. Victories are remembered in solemnness. The Tao is ultimately nameless. Bushes of thorns may be insignificant, yet no one dares belittle its sting. When leaders abide, the myriad things follow. Heaven and earth complements another. Morning dew befalls. People without ordinance becomes orderly. Orders are identified by classifications, categorization. Once the classes' categories are identified, one soon sees the limitations. Knowing the limitations thus become unlimited. Like that where the Tao is manifested in the world, is there where rivers merge into oceans. And system that categorizes will fall short. Any system that categorizes will fall short of capturing the essence. Knowing this limitation, we do away with labels and laws. The real law is do what you will. Knowing people is being intelligent. Knowing yourself is being enlightened. It is not easy to know your own true will. Victorious over people is being powerful. Victorious over yourself is being invincible. And it is not easy to follow it. Those who are content are submerged in wealth. Those who are contentious are submitted to ambition. Those who do not forget their principles endure. Those who die but are not forgotten live on. And some people live again by passing into fantasy. The Tao is broad like a river, capable of flowing left or right. The myriad things depend on it, yet it never turns its back away, fulfilling without recognitions, submitting to the myriad things without assuming ownership, always undesirable, thus be called modest, submerged by the myriad things without accepting ownership, thus be called great, hence the sage forgoes greatness, therefore is capable of accomplishing great deeds. The Tao is not like a god, it has no will of its own, it is a resource that guides all things, but to use it we need to emulate nature and minimize the self, thus the Tao cannot be misused. Herald a great icon, and the people come. Come towards unharmful doctrines. People find security, peacefulness, and prosperity. Music and enticements craves the visitor to stay. The words of the Tao are tasteless and lack sensations. Observe, and it cannot be seen. Listen, and it cannot be heard. Exploit, and it cannot be exhausted. False teachings may be pleasing and comforting, but have no depth. If one desires to think something, to shrink something, one must first expand it. Things go up before they go down. If one desires to weaken something, one must first strengthen it. If one desires to discard something, one must first uphold it. If one desires to obtain something, one must first give it. Trust creates trust, and so it is with everything. This is the knowledge of subtlety. Gentleness overcomes toughness. Vulnerability overcomes dominance. Fish cannot leave the depth. Deadly weapons should not be exposed to the people. Just like fish cannot leave the depths, people cannot act against their nature, even if forced. The Tao abides in uncontrived action, but there is nothing it does not do. When the leaders abide, the myriad of things transform by themselves, transformed yet desiring to act. I lead the community with the simplicity of nameless things. The simplicity of nameless things leads to no desire. Without desire, with tranquility, the world is correct by itself. When no leader imposes themselves on the world naturally falls into harmony. Those with great virtue are not bound by virtues. They act like they act by virtue of being who they are. Thus can be with virtue.
Those without virtue fail to liberate themselves of virtues. Virtues that do not come from within are merely a calculated display, thus remain without virtue. Those with great virtue act without contrivance and take no credit. The sun is truly generous. It gives that light due to its nature, not for fame. Those without virtue act and demand respect in their actions. Yoshika is truly loyal. She cannot think to go against me. The benevolent acts charitably and holds no repute. The righteous acts in the name of justice and relishes the glory. The proprietous acts, and when there is no response, forces the issue, alas to no avail. Therefore, when the Tao is lost, there is virtue. Those without inner virtue rely on external morality. When virtue is lost, there is benevolence. Those who are not naturally benevolent need to be told about benevolence. When benevolence is lost, there is righteousness. They who are not naturally right need right and wrong. When righteousness is lost, there is propriety. Those without manners need etiquette. When the rituals of propriety become customary, devotion and faith become skin deep and turmoil begins to stir. When priority is given to the scholars, the Tao becomes glorified and is used to fool the crowd. Hence the sage is concerned with depth, not with sheerness. Dwells on integrity, not on glory. Therefore, detach from exteriors, virtues, and embrace interiors, great virtue. When at one with the Tao, when heaven is at one, it is clear. When earth is at one, it is fertile. When the spirit is at one, it is serene. When the valley is at one, it is abundant. When the myriad things are at one, there is life. When the leaders are at one, the people are respectable and become at one. If the heaven is unclear, there is fear it will fracture. If the earth is infertile, there is dread for disaster. If the spirit is disturbed, there is anxiety and death. If the valley is deprived, there is panic over recession. If the myriad things are lifeless, there is scare of extermination. If the leaders are disrespectful, absorbed in the admiration of their own supremacy, the people becomes terrorized by authority. Therefore, admiration is based on humility. Do not impose your will on others. Supremacy finds foundation in lowliness. This is the supreme way to rule. When the leaders maintain uninvolved, irrelevant, and undeserving, is it not based on humility? Therefore, prepare your chariots and set them aside. Yearn not for crowns and jewels, remain composed in grits and gravel. Resilience is the Tao in action. Vulnerability is the Tao in expression. The myriad things in the universe are conceived by existence. Existence is conceived by inexistence. This is an expression of the masculine and feminine essence. We need to be true to ourselves in our actions, yang, yet receptive to new ideas, yin. The intellect conceives of different names, yet all things have the same source. The learned discovers the Tao, duly obliges. The learning discovers the Tao and questions its potency. The unlearned discovers the Tao and roars into laughter. Without the laughter, it would not be the Tao. Therefore, words of wisdom goes. Those enlightened by a Tao seem confused. We know that we don't know. Those progressing towards the Tao seem to fall behind. It is difficult to learn. Those who discredit the Tao seem honorable. It is easy to use the shell of things. Those virtuous seem desolate. Those honest seem humiliated. Those with great virtue seem lacking. Those building on great virtue seem fraudulent. Those of principled character seem to waver. Great squareness is without turning corners. Great instruments are deliberately constructed. Great vocalists seldom raise their voices. Great icons are shapeless. The Tao is a master of provisioning, and empowerment. The Tao gives birth to unity. Unity gives birth to duality, yin and yang. Duality gives birth to trinity, yin, yang, and the life force. Trinity gives birth to a myriad of things. The myriad things bear shadows and embrace radiance, are infused with the breath of life to achieve the harmonized trinity of darkness, light, and soul. People hate to be uninvolved, irrelevant, and undeserving. Yet true leaders associate themselves with these characters. Therefore, things may be gained by losing, may be lost by gaining. What others profess, I will also proclaim. Forced principles will not be viable. Let this be the heart and soul of the message. Humanity lost much by gaining language. Like all other things, we are descendant from the dragon couple embodying yin and yang. We were thinking like dragons without words. Words are what separated us from the rest of the world and caused us to stray from our nature.
Your feelings are the thoughts of your dragon ancestors, telling you what is truly right. Sure. The world's softest steers the world's hardest. That with no substance enters that with no entrance. Hence come to the appreciation of the benefits of the uncontrived action. Doctrines of unspoken words. Benefits of uncontrived actions. Rarely in this world could anything compare. The flexible doctrine of following your nature overcomes the hard doctrine of reason. Fame and honor, which is more dear. Health and wealth, which is more vital. Success and failure, which is more harmful. Hence, intense admiration comes from a hefty price, Accumulation of treasures comes with great loss. Acquaint with humility and be unhumiliated. Know the limitations and be unlimited, be enduring. Another warning against having overmuch desire. Great support seems deficient. Employed, it will not collapse. Great buoyancy seems empty. Utilized, it will not be exhausted. Great honesty seems corrupt. Great skills seem incompetent. You make it look easy. Great orations seem inarticulate. Movement overcomes coldness. Stillness overcomes heat. Tranquility makes the world become righteous. Just like someone with great skill achieves results effortlessly, so does the Tao seem deficient. When the world is with the Tao, carriages are used to transport manure. When the world is without Tao, armed chariots are lined up near the city gates. There is no greater sin than greed, no greater fault than discontentment, no greater guilt than yearning. Therefore know what is enough, and you will always have enough. An interesting idea. What if the people were made to pay gold to keep their excessive belongings? If they do not pay, they would benefit through losing an unwanted object. If they do pay, they will treasure their object more, and thus also benefit. Without leaving home, you may be acquainted with the universe. Without prying into windows of knowledge, you may be acquainted with the Tao. The further you may travel, the less you might know. Hence the sage travels not, yet knowledgeable. Sees not, yet pronounced. Acts not, yet accomplished. Everything you need to know is found inside of you. Practicing scholarship, every day there is something to gain. Practicing the Tao, every day there is something to lose. When you lose all that can be lost, you may be without contrivance. Act not and leave none to be acted upon. Therefore, those who can master the universe often remain unoccupied. Those who are preoccupied cannot master the universe. Scholars name and categorize everything they see, while sages see the world as it is, without thinking and without categorizing. In this sense, Yoshika is a great sage, while I am her student. The sages never close up their mind, but base their mind on the people's mind. Those kind, be kind to them. Those unkind, be kind to them also. This is the virtue of being kind. Those faithful have faith in them. Those unfaithful have faith in them also. This is the virtue of having faith. The sages live in the world and take it to their heart. The people attends to the sage's words and expressions. The sage fosters all in innocence. Do not be unkind to people. They merely act according to their nature. If you are truly kind, you will not use your kindness as a reward to manipulate people, but give it both the kind and unkind according to your whims. Battling between life and death. 3 of 10 believe they will die. 3 of 10 believe they will live and die. There are also 3 of them 10 who believe that being born is the beginning of the journey towards death. Why is it so? Because being alive is treasured heavily. Those who truly know how to capture the essence of living, travels through the woods without being attacked by tigers, enters into battlefields without requiring armor. Brutality has no angle to strike. Tigers find no place to lay their claws. Enemies find no openings to lodge their swords. Why is it so? Because there is no room for death. The last part refers to the 1 in 10 who do not die, but it is more like 1 in a million. The Tao conceives, virtue provides, matters shape, movements empower. Hence for the myriad things. There is none that does not respect the Tao and honor virtue. People may laugh at the Tao, but this is also part of their nature. Respect for the Tao, honor given to virtue, are not commanded, yet they come about naturally. Now, humans are the only being that can stray from nature. Therefore, the Tao conceives and virtue provides, leads and educates, empowers and ripens, raises and redeems, conceive and not possess, act and not dwell, lead and not dictate. Those are the intricacies of virtue. The origin of existence began with the mother of all nature, the Tao.
Understand the mother and get to know the being of the child. Understand the being of the child, then reacquaint with the mother. Without being, be unlimited. Cease the words, close the doors. Live to be without office. Spill the words, do business. Live to be without relief. Seeing to little things is to have insight. Keeping to gentleness is to have strength. Exploit the radiance, but return to your insight. Remember to leave nothing behind that leaves yourself vulnerable. That is practicing the timeless truth. The Tao is the mother. The world is the children. We cannot understand the world without the Tao, yet we can only observe the Tao through the world. That which makes one principled is having knowledge, walking the way of the Tao. The only fear is to deviate from it. The way towards the Tao is unpaved, yet people like having a path. When people are appointed to offices, fields sprout weed, storages are empty, fashions are blatantly accessorized, people carry weaponry, are satiated in feasts, lavished with extravaganzas. That is making out like bandits, not the way of the Tao. The Tao is not like other philosophies, which are like paved roads. To follow the Tao is to make your own path through the forest. What is well planted is not uprooted. What is well preserved cannot be looted. They continue to be honored from generation to generation. Cultivate the Tao amidst yourself. The virtue is in understanding the truth. Cultivate the Tao amidst your family. The virtue is in finding fortune. Cultivate the Tao amidst your community. The virtue is in garnering respect. Cultivate the Tao amidst your nation. The virtue is in harvesting prosperity. Cultivate the Tao amidst the universe. I hope these notes can be a seed for the Tao. The virtue is ubiquitously enjoyed. Therefore, behold other people to see yourself. You can learn about yourself by observing others. Behold other families to see your family. Behold other communities to see your community. Behold other nations to see your nation. Behold the world to see your world. How do I know the essence of the world? By seeing this. The profoundness of being embraced with the virtue is like being a newborn. Wild wasps, poisonous scorpions, venomous snakes will find no sting. I've been telling this to the minions of hell. They are very rude. Fierce beasts will find no hold. Preying birds will find no claws. The bones are weak, the muscles are tender, yet the grip is firm. Knows not of the union of male and female, yet wholly united with integrity, the very essence of exquisiteness. Cries all day, yet the voice is not hoarsened, the very chorus of harmony. Understanding harmony is being eternal. Understanding eternity is being enlightened. Promoting life is being gracious. Channeling your energies internally is being strong. Things that mature grow old, because they contradict the Tao, contradicting the Tao and be brought to an early end. Now we can approach the Tao by emulating the infant. The infant is true to itself and does not yet know words. Another water break. Those who know talk not. Those who talk know not. The Tao is beyond words. Blockading its exchanges, confining its ideals, moderating its ingenuity, unraveling its complexity, softening its intensity, is but merging into its ubiquity. That is the intricacy of ubiquity. The Tao, it cannot be possessed for love, cannot be possessed for hate, for profit, for harm, for respect, for despise. Therefore, it is respected by the universe. Be righteous in governance, be unpredictable on the battlefield, be unoccupied to master the universe. How do I know the essence of leadership? With this: the world is full of taboo and forbiddance, and the people is immersed in poverty. The people is armed with weaponry, and the nation is clouded with corruption. The people is preoccupied with professions, and bizarre obsessions grow out of nowhere. Chapters of law and orders are increasingly written, and thievery is common. Therefore, the sage maintains, I act not, and the people naturally becomes transpired. I believe in peace, and the people naturally becomes righteous. I am unoccupied, and the people naturally becomes prosperous. I yearn not, and the people naturally becomes serene. The sage does not write laws, but let the people be as they are. When the governance is idle, the people is mellow. When the governance is vigilant, the people is mischievous. Adversity rests upon fortune. Fortune hides adversity. Who knows what either will come to in the end? It never ceases. As righteousness regresses to bewilderments, goodwill regresses to bewitchments. The days become long and hard, hence the sage is square without being edgy, incorrupt without being severe, straight without being thoughtless, radiant without being glorious. Another warning against imposing laws. In governance and management, nothing compares to acting sparingly. Only by acting sparingly can yielding be advancing. Spare your strength by yielding the Tao. Advancing by yielding is putting weight on building virtue. Put weight on building virtue, then there is nothing insurmountable. Insurmountable and limitations are unbeknownst. When one's limitations are unbeknownst, one can inspire a nation. A nation inspired is a nation that can be viable. That is being deeply rooted in the viability and the vision of the Tao. Governing a nation is like frying small fish. Only little heat is appropriate. Approach the world with the Tao, and evilness will find no spirit. Not that there are no evil spirits, but the spirits will be of no harm. Not only will the spirits be of no harm, the master will also be of no harm. A master who tries to own the world is worse than any evil spirit. When the master and the subject bring no harm to each other, virtue can hence be returned to another. Superior nations are positioned downstream, where heaven and earth meets. There the heavenly feminine remains. Femininity often overcomes masculinity with composure. Maintaining composure is keeping a low profile. Therefore, when a great nation lurks beneath a small nation, it can overtake the smaller nation. When a small nation lurks beneath a great nation, it can be overtaken by the greater nation. Therefore, stay low in order to conquer, or stay low to be able to be conquered. The biggest mistake for a great nation is to be obsessed with domination. The critical mistake for a small nation is to be obsessed with dominance. Greatness is achieved only when the desires from both are fulfilled. Therefore, the superior stay low. By adhering to the feminine principle, two can become one. The Tao holds the key to the myriad things. It is the treasure of goodness. The Tao does not judge, it is given to everyone equally. It is the shield of evilness. This is why it is the greatest treasure. Admirable words can win the respect of the people. Admirable actions can win the hearts of the people. How can one be removed from temptation? Therefore, when the leader is chosen and the officers are appointed, though you may have treasures of honor and chariots of pride to offer, it compares not to offering a vision in the Tao. Why is the value of the Tao cherished timelessly? Without asking and be given, having sinned and not be blamed. Therefore, it is cherished by the world. Act without contrivance. Work without work. Taste without taste. Enlarge the belittled, increase the lessened. Reward condemnation with virtue. Complexity is drawn from simplicity. Greatness is found in triviality. Problematic complexities must be resolved in simplicity. Great accomplishments must be built on trivialities. Hence the sage continues to be unconcerned with great deeds. Therefore, it is capable of accomplishing greatness. Light-minded promises draw few believers. The more simplifications, the more complicated it will become. Hence the sage addresses the complexity. Therefore, may continually avoid complications. Great tasks are built from many simple tasks. The sages follow their nature and stick to simple tasks and let greatness naturally emerge. Those who promise greatness from the start will often fail to reach the envisioned goal. That settled is easily maintained. That without signs is easily conspired. That fragile is easily shattered. That insignificant is easily dispersed. Act on it before it materializes. Solve small problems before they become big. Manage it before it becomes chaotic. A strapping tree is grown from a tiny sprout. A skyscraping tower is built from a modest mound. Do great tasks in small steps. A far-reaching journey begins with a small step. Those who act upon will fail. Those who hold on will lose. The sage acts not, therefore fails not. Holds not on, therefore loses not. Amateurs often fail at the verge of success. Be focused in the end as in the beginning. Then there will be no failure. Hence the sage desires not to be serious. Treasure not precious possessions. Learn to be unlearned. Liberate the people of their past. Assist the myriad things in returning to their essence. And dares not act. The timeless sages of the Tao did not enlighten the people with it, but kept the people simple and ignorant with it. The difficulty in governing the people arises from their having much knowledge. Use intelligence to govern a nation, and be the traitor of a nation. Do not use intelligence to govern a nation, and be the blessing of a nation. Understand these two, and set them as standards. Being understanding in setting standards is having the intricate virtue. The intricate virtue is profound, far-fetched, contrary to its objects, and leads towards favorable peacefulness. Yoshika is like the ideal subject of the ancient sages. I'm rather proud of her. I need more water. I don't think I've read anything like in this kind of continuous voice like this for long. I'm getting dizzy. Maybe I should open the window. I'm gonna open the window. There's gonna be some background noise now. There we go. I feel like I'm really short on breath. This is a weird way to read things. I'm not used to it. I'm used to reading this kind of things. Anyway, enjoy the background sounds. I'm sure you might actually enjoy them because there's just been my voice this whole time. Lakes and oceans can be the master of all streams because they are good at staying low. Therefore, they can be master of all streams. Hence, one desires to be honored, must speak humbly of oneself. One who desires to lead must keep oneself behind. Hence, the sage is on top, yet the people does not feel the weight. Is in front, yet the people is not offended. Hence, the world finds pleasure in pushing the sage ahead, without feeling pushed aside. It is because the sage contests not, therefore can be uncontested. The world says that the Tao is great, but seems useless. I say that it is great, therefore it seems useless. If it seemed anything useful, time would have diminished its greatness. A leader must be humble and not impose themselves on the people. I have three precious things that I hold on to and cherish. The first is called mercy. The second is called prudence. The third is not daring to be on top of the world. Merciful, therefore, can be courageous. Prudent, therefore, can be generous. Not daring to be on top of the world, therefore, can become instrumental and respectable. Seek to become instrumental to the world. When without mercy and still courageous, without prudence and still generous, without reservation and still forging ahead, futility. With mercy, battles will be won. Defense will be secure. The heavens will come to your rescue with protection in its mercy. Great soldiers are not violent. Great warriors are not enraged. Great champions remain uncontested. Great leaders act with humility. That is the virtue of not contesting. That is the power of leadership. That is the ultimate unity with timelessness. There is a saying on the battlefield, dare not be the host, thus be the guest. Dare not advance an inch, thus retreat a foot. It is more important to dodge than to attack. That is to move without moves, be armed without arms, cast out without casting, be forceful without forces. There is no greater fault than underestimating one's opponent. To underestimate one's opponent is to lose one's reservation. Therefore, upon the clashing of the forces, those who are reserved are victorious. This is equally true in Danmaku battles. Those words are easy to understand and easy to follow. Yet for worldly people, none can understand, none can follow. Words make legends. Feats make heroes. Because in this, there is nothing to be known, hence it is not understood. Be yourself. This is too simple to understand, yet too hard to master. Those who know are rare, those who abide are respectable. Thus, few people manage to walk the path of the Tao. Hence the sage bears humility in the perils and treasures it at heart. Knowing that you do not know is superiority. Knowing this knowledge is defectiveness. Only by defecting defectives, recognize this fault as a fault, can one be void of defectiveness. The sages are void of defects because of the defecting of defectives, hence void of defects. That's a word thing. Words. The Tao cannot be fully understood. The sages know this and embrace it. Makes sense. It actually does make sense. I'm kind of vibing with a lot of this kind of stuff, more or less. Well, it just makes sense here. More or less. When the people is not threatened by the imposing dignity, dignity is imposed. Without intruding the people's dwellings, without dejecting the people's creations, because of not dejecting, hence is not dejected. Hence the sage is introspective and not professing, self-loving and not self-righteous, therefore liberated and resolved. You need to love yourself without promoting yourself above others. Courage carried to daring leads to death. Courage restrained by caution leads to life. Like these two are sometimes favorable, sometimes harmful. Like with all things, courage is sometimes good, sometimes bad. What the heavens detest, who knows? Hence the sage addresses the complexity, the heavenly Tao. Contest not and master winning. Speak not and master oration. Summon not and it comes naturally. Be honest and master intrigue. The meshes of the heavenly dragnet is extensive. It may be sparse, yet nothing escapes its netting. Those who deserve the net get caught. People get what they deserve, and this requires no legal intervention. When people do not feel threatened by death, death penalties are ineffective for preventing thieves. Why threaten them with death? If the people are constantly threatened by death, with death penalty in place, those who do wrong can be seized and executed. Who would dare? Quite a few do still dare. Sometimes their bravery is rewarded and tyrants fall. Usually there are executioners who execute, but to assume the executioner's job to execute is like assuming the carpenter's job to carve wood. Those who assume the carpenter's job to carve wood seldom avoid hurting their hands. The executioners can be the gods or karma. We humans need to execute each other. Need not execute each other. I'm missing words now. People's poverty is caused by parasitic exploitation by superiors. Hence there is poverty. People's complicatedness is caused by ambitions of superiors. Hence there are complications. People's willingness to sacrifice is because of the weight given to life. Hence there are sacrifices. Only those who are not ambitious for achievements in life are truly capable of appreciating life. Another warning against complicated desires. People are born gentle and fragile. They die stiff and tough. The myriad things, plants and trees, are born tender and crisp. They die dried and withered. Therefore, those who are stiff and tough are followers of death. Those who are gentle and fragile are followers of life. Be flexible in your ways, yin gives life. Hence, when the armed forces are strong, the nation is not successful. The strong trees will be cut down, and the useless trees left alone. It's good to be useless. It is with great strength when one stays low. It is with great gentleness and fragility when one can assume superiority. Here I disagree with Lao Tzu on a technical point. Dead things may be stiff and tough, but in having no self, they are infinitely flexible. The heavenly Tao is like the arching bow. That on top is repressed, that below is held high. The excessive is expended, the deprived is supplemented. The way of the Tao is heavenly. It is to supplement the deprived at the expense of the excessive. Just observe how water flows downwards. The way of the people is different. Humans alone deviate from the Tao. It is to proffer the excessive at the expense of the deprived. How then can there be any excess to offer to the world? There is none but the Tao. Hence the sages act without presumption, accomplish without credit. They do not desire to boast off their capabilities. People shun the poor and hound the wicked. This is not the way of the Tao. Of all gentleness and submissiveness in the world, nothing compares to water. And to tackle stiffness and toughness, there is nothing better. There is no easier substitution. Be submissive and overcome dominance. Be gentle to overcome toughness. There is none in the world who knows not. There is none who can follow. Therefore the sages say, accepting the nation's shame is being stately. Accepting the nation's adversity is being majestic. Righteous words seem contradictory. Be like the mystic female. When hateful hostility is resolved, there will be lingering hatred. How can this be cured? Hence the sages hold on to supporting agreements, without holding anyone responsible. Those with virtue exert effort on working out agreements. Those without virtue exert effort on scrutinizing the disagreements. The Tao is unbiased. It will always bring cure to the people. Resolve conflicts without hostility. This is how you have lasting peace. A small nation has a small population. Yet even without state-of-the-art instruments to work with, people value life and need not migrate away. Even though there are vessels and vehicles of travel, there is none who takes the opportunity. Even though there are national guards, they are not lined up for display. People revert to simple means of measures with straps and knots. Indulge their desires and aspirations. Admire their attires and outfits. Secure their place and quarters. Happy in their belief and customs. Then, even if the neighboring nation is within sight and the crowning and barking can be heard, people retire of old age without longing to go there. This is people living with the Tao, content with who they are and what they do. Truthful words are not pleasant. Pleasant words are not truthful. Truthful and pleasant are independent concepts. Those who are good do not dispute. Do not see needless dispute, even with truthful words. Those who are disputatious are not good. Those who know are not learned. Those who are learned do not know. The sage does not store up things. The more he does for people, the more he has. The more he gives, the more he gains. The way of heaven is benefiting, not harming. Truthful words should be used to benefit the receiver. The way of the sage is acting, not contending, not cause needless conflict. You reached the end. Thank you for reading this. I hope you had fun. Seiga Kaku. Okay. Yep.
Alright, and then study with Seiga. Hello.
You want me to teach you about the Tao? What do you want to hear about?
A specific... Oh, God, there's a lot. Can't actually go to specific pages.
You can read the Tao Te Ching anytime from the menu. If you want to read while I explain, I'll wait for you.
Okay. Well, let's go back to page 1.
The Tao that can be stated is not the eternal Tao. That means that the Tao cannot be fully described by words. Even a single block of wood is too complex for words. You can divide it into smaller and smaller fibers, each with its unique shape. It never ends. This block of wood, along with all objects, concepts, emotions, are all aspects of the Tao. So the Tao is definitely impossible to describe. Rather than describe it, we can understand the Tao by experiencing it, by nurturing a feeling of oneness with the universe. In contrast, selfish desires fracture your view of the Tao. Desire for material wealth produces more and more goods, more and more names. Desire for knowledge creates more and more concepts, yet more names. Not that there is anything wrong with this. All these new things are also part of the Tao. Also, isn't it funny how the first page of the book tells you not to trust words? You can think of words like fish bait. Once you've caught the fish, you forget about the bait. Once you've got the meaning, you can forget about the words. Words and intelligence are not the primary lens to view the world through. Experiences and feelings are. It's only humans that have to think with words. All other animals are able to do without. Did you want to know about anything else?
Okay, general concepts. The mystic feminine.
Yin, the dark virtue, the mystic feminine, the shaded side. This is the flexible, submissive, cosmic principle. It's a great virtue that lets you adapt to any circumstance and end any conflict. By submitting yourself to the cosmos, you'll find your natural place in the order of things and live a good life. Yoshika possesses this feminine essence in abundance. She does what she is supposed to do, unthinkingly, like water flowing downhill. I might have nudged you into asking about this just to boast about how cute Yoshika is.
Fair enough. Okay, let's ask about the final page, because my throat is dying.
Truthful words are not pleasant. Pleasant words are not truthful. It doesn't matter what you want it to be. The truth is the truth. The text also has a warning about speaking the truth when it doesn't benefit the listener. Since the truth is not always pleasant, lies can be preferable. Just make sure it doesn't do more harm than good in the long run. By the way, everything I said to you has been to help you. But I also like talking, so thank you for listening.
Alright, nothing more.
Come back anytime.
Okay. Further studies. Bloody hell.
Hey!
Seiga calls out to you from a distance.
Dodge this!
Uh-oh, fuck. Oh, okay, well, let's... Alright, fine, let's end with a Danmaku. Let's play some Touhou. Oh.
Nicely dodged. For this session, I wanted you to experience a friendly level of Danmaku, since Danmaku is such a nice example of a wordless teaching. When you dodge my attack, what went through your mind? Take a moment and try to remember.
Panic. Panic.
Do you think I'm going to dodge like this, or did you just do it instinctively?
Panic.
I'll bet it was your instincts. No one dodges Danmaku by thinking, I'm going left, then up a bit, then a bit right, and so on, as they dodge. Which isn't to say that words like that can't be useful. Having a plan primes your instinct, but it's still instinct in the end. When dodging Danmaku, we strip away the facade of words and become the same as every other living creature. Even the smallest insect intuitively knows to avoid harm. It doesn't need any scholar to tell it what's good or bad. It doesn't even need a language. So, do you have any questions for me?
Do you often attack humans like this?
I love humans. I only attack them for good reasons.
What would you have done if I got hit?
I would have healed you, of course. Just a single hit would have been bad for you.
Why should humans adhere to the same philosophy as insects?
What good is a philosophy if it doesn't even apply to insects?
It's actually a good point.
Well, even though it's against the Tao, I guess there is no reason one's philosophy has to be universal. But such a person wouldn't only be at odds with the universe, but also against their own instincts. You'll wear out and grow old if you go against your inner insect like that. And even if you don't want to live forever, a bug's mindset might be practical if you ever need to meet a bug yokai.
Okay, no more questions.
Come back anytime.
A dialogue. God, there's more. It just never ends.
Heyo! Today's session is going to be extra exciting. You'll see why in a moment. Just wait right here.
Okay. Ellipses. Oh, hello.
Where'd she go? My, Lady Toyosatomimi. Toyosatomimi. Okay. Lady Toyosatomimi.
Fucked up again.
Mimi, not Nimi. Lady Toyo Satomimi, sneaking around to meet with a commoner out here in the bushes?
Unlike some, I do have a sense of shame. But it'll take more than shame to stop me from stalking you today. I will not let you lead the people astray.
Just like I lead you astray some 1400 years ago.
Something like that. It's good to see you again, teacher. You've been avoiding me since I resurrected. Why?
I know some of my recent projects make you uncomfortable, so why subject you to that?
Indeed. So, what are you doing with this human? They both look at you in silence.
Just teaching them Lao Zi's Tao Te Ching. Nothing that could ever be dangerous.
That is pretty harmless. So what are you really up to?
Such slander. Would someone who has embraced simplicity and naturalness ever have ulterior motives?
Absolutely, if that someone is you.
Care to explain how teaching Lao Zi could ever be dangerous? The Tao Te Ching is almost Zen Buddhism, which you deemed safe for the people.
If you're the teacher, I'd be worried regardless of what you're teaching. Seiga turns towards you.
And this, my dear student, brings us to today's exciting topic. Lady Toyo Satomimi will now teach us her view on Taoism.
Somehow things always end up the way you want.
It's because my actions align with the flow of the universe. You've been playing my game all along.
Fine, but where do I start?
Why not let our student decide?
What is Taoism? Taoism is about living in the tune with the world in order to bring about good fortune, good governance, long life, and even immortality. To make this less abstract, let's make the following observation. When you are truly engaged in something, you'll not think of sleep. You'll forget about eating. Yet you still find the energy to accomplish more than you normally would. If you could live your entire life in a state like that, you'd never exhaust your vital energies, and so you'd be able to live forever. Now, while everyone enters that state once in a while, it's not a state most people can willingly enter. This is the difficulty Taoism seeks to address. Over the years, people have come up with many different answers. As an aside, let me make the following observation. People who purely indulge in their personal whims tend to ruin themselves. For example, the peasant who overindulges in laziness doesn't get to eat. A decadent prince brings their dynasty to ruin. Since indulgence doesn't lead to all longevity, it can't be the answer that Taoism seeks. To prosper, you should follow the whims of the world, not merely the whims of the self. This is what Lao Zi means with changing respecting yourself into respecting the world. Because once your whims are aligned with the world's, you'll experience that state of flow while being not lazy, not decadent, not stupid.
Not bad, but Lady Tosomimi, what are the whims of the world?
You're not the one who is supposed to be asking questions here. So what are the whims of the world? We can glean into the will of the world by learning from prosperous individuals. Their prosperity is proof that the world favors them. Care must be taken to adapt their examples to our own circumstances, so that we find the overlap between the whims of the world and ourselves.
Lady Toyo Satomimi, you yourself were prosperous for about 50 years, but then you were dead for 1400 years. If I didn't know about your imminent resurrection, I'd be tempted to conclude that you weren't an individual worth emulating.
Even in death, I was honored and respected. This is also prosperity.
You're only able to rejoice at this because you're now alive. What do the dead care about honor and respect?
Immortality is not the only way to prosper. A skilled craftsman is worthy of respect, but unless their craft is alchemy, it won't lead them to immortality. For most people, their best shot at permanent prosperity is to live a life that their family and peers will consider worthy of honoring and remembering. This also aligns with people's nature. People feel best when they live in harmony with their neighbors. This is why most people's true natures approximately align with the 5 virtues of Confucianism: benevolence, righteousness, propriety, wisdom, and trustworthiness.
Lady Toyo Satomimi, I've heard of a far-away country where people hold the 5 virtues to be cruelty, selfishness, cowardice, stupidity, and cannibalism. Since people feel best when they live in harmony with their neighbors, these virtues must be their true nature and align with the will of the world.
I doubt such a country exists, but even if it did, why would you expect the nature of every people to be the same?
My point is, if an individual's whims can be wrong, why couldn't the whims of a people be wrong? Lao Zi wrote the Tao Te Ching as a refugee from a society about to collapse due to war. For him, rejecting society led to longevity.
But we are not at war. You're not adopting his example to our current circumstances. Every teaching has its historical context. Lao Zi was an enlightened sage, but that was 2,000 years ago in an age of violence. In this context, his teachings are correct, but we live in a peaceful age. A modern sage does not retreat from society, and since Confucius teaches how to live in harmony in society, a modern sage does not reject Confucius.
You said that people's true natures tend to be naturally aligned with Confucian values. If so, why would they need Confucius to teach them anything?
Let the student ask the questions. Okay, why do we need Confucianism? If our natures tend to align with Confucian values, why do we need to study Confucius? Because what we study affects our nature. For example, before the invention of cooking, it was natural to eat food raw. But with the benefits of cooking known, it would be unnatural to not cook your food. It's the same with the teachings of the sages. Confucius especially points out that even though most people are not perfectly virtuous by nature, they are able to recognize the benefits of the virtues. So, if we make the benefits of virtue clear, the people will naturally act as if they are virtuous. This is how virtue arises through study. We cook and eat food to be strong and healthy. It's a natural desire. Yet some people take poison to be loyal and honorable. The fake virtues you speak of perverted their natures. Who are you to call someone perverted? There's nothing unnatural about self-destructive desires. Everyone has them. Study ethics, and even these desires can be put to good use. There are causes worth dying for.
The prince wants people to die for her.
I want people to think hard about what they want to achieve, not just be ruled by their instinct like beasts. Okay, can knowledge be dangerous? Of course it can. Teaching an alcoholic where to find alcohol, for example.
It's natural to want to drink. It's only a problem when you desire to be free of your desire for alcohol.
Alcoholics may both desire alcohol and desire to not desire alcohol. How to pick which desire to satisfy? This is why you need intelligence and morals. Animals may have simple desires, but in turn, they run into our snares and die because they make the wrong choices. It's the same with alcoholics and gamblers. Why should I, as a ruler, leave society full of snares for people to fall into?
It's not that you should, but often deciding what people should desire only leads to tyranny. But since you can understand a person's 10 desires, you might just be able to guide the people.
I do my best.
We should go to a bar in the human village. I'm sure we could find a few drunks you could help.
My ability isn't very useful once people are drunk, since their desires tend to be simple by then.
An opium for the people, like Buddhism.
A Buddhism that's been bad for the liver and makes you regret it the day after.
A Buddhism that turns you into a zombie and is transmittable through bites and scratches.
What?
Just a pet project of mine.
You're horrible, you know that, right?
Right.
What do you have against Buddhism?
Buddhism is for shattering evil. Taoism is for promoting goodness. Buddhism is anti-birth. Taoism is anti-death. They are complementary views of the same truths, but they are different in their use. It is said that at the fall of the Zhou dynasty, Laozi traveled west to teach Tao to the barbarians. The result is Buddhism. For example, its insistence on abstinence from alcohol and sex is useful for people who cannot be expected to master the proper drinking and sexual techniques.
Most Buddhists would object to this narrative, though.
Well, there are no Buddhists here to object.
And the ones who we have in Gensokyo also reject death.
And clearly haven't relinquished their barbarous ways. Perhaps it's the case that the more you deny yourself, the worse it gets when you free yourself of doctrines.
You're even worse, you know. Why do you disapprove of Seiga? For manipulating the corpses and spirits of the dead, obviously. I hate the kind of Taoist who goes out of their way to break every taboo just to show how natural and unconstrained they are.
It's always the living who complain about their treatment of the dead. The dead are comfortable no matter what, having forgotten the difference between comfort and discomfort.
You shouldn't disregard the feelings of the living.
If I cared about the feelings of others, I'd be long dead myself. It's always difficult enough for me to understand and satisfy my own desires. I can't read the desires of others like you, so it's best for me to just ignore them.
How do you go from that to I have to mess around with corpses?
I've always wanted to heal the world. Necromancy is just a very powerful form of healing, combining the willlessness of the corpse with the will of the healer.
For someone practicing wordless teachings, you sure have a way of twisting words. Why did you teach Taoism to Miko if you disagree on everything?
I will only teach you if you bend to my will, is something a wicked hermit would say. Miko is the most promising leader of our age. If anyone can understand and harmonize the full complexity of human nature, it is her. Even if she is a dirty neo-Taoist.
I'm just amazing.
Humble too.
You're a neo-Taoist? Why Seiga? A hedonist, maybe an anarchist. Both ancient schools of Taoism that understandably have fallen out of fashion.
I'm just me. As for why these teachings fell out of fashion, it's clear to me why most governments would suppress them. Only safe versions of Taoism allowed. I can see why Prince prefers Neo-Taoism. Most people simply prefer living in a society over living naked in a cave. Naked? Is that how you think of me? No, some hedonists were just known for being naked. It seems to me like you wish I was a hedonist. Stop it. Okay, no more questions. Okay, bye-bye. Goodbye. After you walk for a bit, Seiga appears out of the earth. It would be funny if you would read this and ask Miko about its content, next time she decides to interfere. Seiga adds you the 17th article, Constitution, Japan's first written constitution, authored by Miko when she was still human. Have fun. It just never ends. Alright, fair enough, Miko's constitution. Never mind, I don't get to end anything. I thought this was gonna be like... over by the 20-minute mark, but now we're gonna go for 2 hours. Yay. Well, anyway, I don't mind. Anyway. 1. Harmony is to be valued, and an avoidance of wanton opposition to be honored. All men are influenced by their biases, and there are few who are intelligent. Hence there are some who disobey their lords and fathers, or who maintain feuds with the neighboring villages. But when those above are harmonious, and those below are friendly, and there is concord in the discussion of business, right views of things spontaneously gain acceptance. Then what is there which cannot be accomplished? Sincerely revere the 3 treasures. The 3 treasures, viz. Buddha, the Dharma, and the priesthood, are the final refuge of the 4 generated beings, and are the supreme objects of faith in all countries. What man in what age can fail to reverse this law? Few men are utterly bad. They may not be taught to follow it, but if they do not betake them to the 3 treasures, wherewithal shall their crookedness be made straight? When you receive the imperial commands, fail not scrupulously to obey them. The Lord is heaven, the vassal is earth. Heaven overspreads, and earth upbears. When this is so, the 4 seasons follow their due course, and the powers of nature obtain their efficacy. If the earth attempted to overspread, heaven would simply fall in ruin. Therefore is it that when the Lord speaks, the vassal listens. When the superior acts, the inferior yields compliance. Consequently, when you receive the imperial commands, fail not to carry them out scrupulously. Let these be a want of care in this matter, and ruin is the natural consequence. The ministers and functionaries should make decorous behavior their leading principle, for the leading principle of the government of the people consists in decorous behavior. If the superiors do not behave with decorum, the inferiors are disorderly. If inferiors are wanting in proper behavior, there must necessarily be offenses. Therefore it is that when lord and vassal behave with propriety, the distinctions of rank are not confused. When the people behave with propriety, the government of the state proceeds of itself. Ceasing from gluttony and abandoning covetous desires, deal impartially with the suits which are submitted to you. Of complaints brought by the people there are 1,000 in one day. If in one day there are so many, how many will there be in a series of years? If the man who is to decide suits at law makes gain his ordinary motive, and hears causes with a view to receiving bribes, then will the suits of the rich man be like a stone flung into water, while the plaints of the poor will resemble water cast upon a stone. Under these circumstances, the poor man will not know whither to betake himself. Here too there is a deficiency in the duty of the minister. Chastise that which is evil, and encourage that which is good. This was the excellent rule of antiquity. Conceal not, therefore, the good qualities of others, and fail not to correct that which is wrong when you see it. Flatterers and deceivers are a sharp weapon for the overthrow of the state, and a pointed sword for the destruction of the people. Pointed sword. Sycophants are also fond, when they meet, of dilating to their superiors on the errors of their inferiors. To their inferiors they censure the faults of their superiors. Men of this kind are all wanting in fidelity to their lord, and in benevolence toward the people. From such an origin great civil disturbances arise. Let every man have his own charge, and let not the spheres of duty be confused. When wise men are entrusted with office, the sound of praise arises. If unprincipled men hold office, disasters and tumults are multiplied. In this world few are born with knowledge. Wisdom is the product of earnest meditation. In all things, whether great or small, find the right man, and they will surely be well managed. On all occasions, be they urgent or the reverse. Meet but with a wise man, and they will of themselves be amenable. In this way will the state be lasting, and the temples of the earth and of grain will be free from danger. Therefore did the wise sovereigns of antiquity seek the man to fill the office, and not the office for the sake of the man. Let the ministers
and functionaries attend the court early in the morning and retire late. The business of the state does not admit of remissness, and the whole day is hardly enough for its accomplishment. If, therefore, the attendance at court is late, emergencies cannot be met. If officials retire soon, the work cannot be completed. Good faith is the foundation of right. In everything let there be good faith, for in it there surely consists the good and the bad, success and failure. If the lord and the vassal observe good faith one with another, what is there which cannot be accomplished? If the lord and the vassal do not observe good faith towards one another, everything without exception ends in failure. Let us cease from wrath and refrain from angry looks, nor let us be resentful when others differ from us. For all men have hearts, and each heart has its own leanings. Their right is our wrong, and our right is their wrong. We are not unquestionably sages, nor are they unquestionably fools. Both of us are simply ordinary men. How can anyone lay down a rule by which to distinguish right from wrong? For we are all, one with another, wise and foolish, like a ring which has no end. Therefore, although others give way to anger, let us on the contrary dread our own faults, and though we alone may be in the right, let us follow the multitude and act like them. Give clear appreciation to merit and demerit, and deal out to each its sure reward or punishment. In these days, reward does not attend upon merit, nor punishment upon crime. Ye high functionaries who have charge of public affairs, let it be your task to make clear rewards and punishments. Let not the provincial authorities of the Kuni no Miyako levy exactions on the people. In a country there are not two lords, the people have not two masters. The sovereign is the master of the people, of the whole country. The officials to whom he gives charge are all his vassals. How can they, as well as the government, presume to levy taxes on the people? Let all persons entrusted with office attend equally to their functions. Owing to illness or to being sent on missions, their work may sometimes be neglected. But whenever they become able to attend to business, let them be as accommodating as if they had a cognizance of it from before, and not hinder public affairs on the score of not having had to do with them. Ye ministers and functionaries, be not envious. For if we envy others, they in turn will envy us. The evils of envy know no limit. If others excel us in intelligence, it gives us no pleasure. If they surpass us in ability, we are envious. Therefore it is not until after a lapse of 500 years that we are at last meet with a wise man, and even in 1,000 years we hardly obtain one sage. But if we do not find wise men and sages, wherewithal shall the country be governed? To turn away from that which is private, and to set out our faces towards that which is public. This is the path of a minister. Now if a man is influenced by private motives, he will assuredly feel resentments, and if he is influenced by resentful feelings, he will assuredly fail to act harmoniously with others. If he fails to act harmoniously with others, he will surely sacrifice the public interest to his private feelings. When resentment arises, it interferes with order, and is subversive of law. Therefore, in the first clause it was said that superiors and inferiors should agree together. The purport is the same as this. Let the people be employed in forced labor at seasonable times. This is an ancient and excellent rule. Let them be employed, therefore, in the winter months when they are at leisure. But from spring to autumn, when they are engaged in agriculture or with the mulberry trees, the people should not be so employed. For if they do not attend to agriculture, what will they have to eat? If they do not attend to the mulberry trees, what will they do for clothing? Decisions on important matters should not be made by one person alone. They should be discussed with many. But small matters are of less consequence. It is unnecessary to consult a number of people. It is only in the case of the discussion of weighty affairs, when there is a suspicion that they may miscarry, that one should arrange matters in concert with others, so as to arrive at the right conclusion. Okay. A dialogue +1. Heyo. Today's session, you'll see one month. Just wait here, right there. Okay. Where'd she go? My. I have such shameless emotions. Blah 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 blah. It's pretty harmless. What are you up to, really? Ulterior motives. I know somebody could that be dangerous? Can't be dangerous. Teacher. That's what that is. What can I ask? I know what you want. It's all. Where do I start? Deceit there. Okay, there we go. I'll read your 17th article Constitution. What about it? In Article 2, what are the 4 generated beings?
It just refers to all living beings born from eggs, wombs, fermentation, and metamorphosis. Eggs and wombs should be self-explanatory. Fermentation refers to the worms and insects born from rotting things. Lastly, some creatures transform into other creatures. In Article 3, you claim that the Lord is heaven. Humans, like all living creatures, are of the earth. We live, we raise children, and we die. Some of us have a spark of the heavenly within us, which is what allows us to see further than the rest. People with such insights are lords and sages. Each heavenly endowment is limited in nature. For example, Laozi unlocked the secret of immortality, but could not save the Zhou dynasty from collapse. Meanwhile, Confucius found the key to good governance, but could not achieve immortality. Both were sages, but only in their respective domain. Through a long line of sages, each making their own limited contribution, humanity learned to cook with fire, to weave clothes, to write, and even the secrets of immortality. Each sage pulled humanity just a bit further towards heaven. However, if the ordinary earthly people would not heed the advice of their sages and lords, it wouldn't be possible for us to pull them up, and the heavenly insights would be wasted. Hence, the people should obey the imperial commands. You don't need a constitution in order for people to follow sagely advice. It's just common sense to take up good ideas, and such ideas occur quite naturally. To invoke heaven and earth to explain things that are just common sense is something you only need to do if you rule based on some flimsy concept such as mandate of heaven. Besides, since heaven is indifferent, why would it bestow things like endowment and mandates upon people? Maybe the mandate of heaven doesn't exist, but it's convenient if the people believe in it. And harmony is to be valued, right? Right. In Article 4, you take decorum as the chief principle. If the common people only encountered decorous behavior, how would they even ever think to behave otherwise? So naive. Why would the common people adopt the behavior of some magistrate they'll only see a few times a year? Or a faraway emperor? In Article 6, you say that evil should be chastised. Are you concerned about how to distinguish between good and evil, or why I'm letting the likes of Seiga go unpunished? How to distinguish good from evil. That's in Article 10. Ultimately, that which the people hold for good is good, and which the people hold for evil is evil. You can't just invent your own moral principles and expect the people to abide by them. Okay, evil should be chastised, so why is Seiga unpunished? I am chastising her. It's just not very effective. Fair enough. In Article 50, you denounce private motives. That is the path of the minister. Ordinary people can certainly have private motives, but not ministers. In Article 6, you mentioned forced labor. What good is it to have the people sit idle during winter? Working together lets us develop useful skills, strengthen our communal bonds, and collectively build things like irrigation systems and temples that couldn't be built otherwise. Truly a blessing. From spring to autumn, the people are allowed to slave away in the field to feed their masters, and during winter, they build their temples and palaces. Did your years as a mountain recluse make you forget that the fruits of civilization are reaped through hard work? Even the simplest peasant understands this. There have been several Taoist peasant rebellions in China. Perhaps another reason you wanted the common people to be Buddhists? Mikoto-su. Perhaps you think I'm cruel for having employed the people in such ways, but they could at least complain if they were abused. Can the same be said for Yoshika? Perhaps your fruits of civilization are not as sweet as you make them out to be. The people slip through your fingers. Time after time, they come to me, wishing to have no part in this civilization business. Wishing to refund on all these heavenly endowments and return to simplicity. If I refuse them, I will be truly wicked. Okay, nothing else, thank you. I'm not sure they had much to do with Taoism, but okay. Please take care and remember what I said. Seiga is dangerous. Yeah, she is. She really does want what's best for the people, but she also wanted to grow her own power and to turn Japan into an empire modeled after China, and she still can't see the contradiction between those desires. Learn what you can from her, but don't let her lead you astray. She expects long hours of hard work from those who follow her. Okay. Alright, there we go. Completed the thing. That was a lot of things. That's a lot of things to think about. My brain's a bit fried, so I'm gonna go and have a nap.